Hey everyone, I want to invite you to follow Gauntlet Runner on Kickstarter. This will be my newest 5e book. It'll have physical and PDF and VTT options. Things are currently in development and the Kickstarter is in pre-launch. And as you can guess, it will feature a series of hardcore dungeons. They're formatted for any kind of play, so they can be a solo runner competition like in this YouTube series, or you can use them as standalone modules for whole adventuring parties in a typical campaign. They're suitable for tabletop or on VTTs. And guys, you know how I like to do it. Lots of highly crafted design, artistic style. You know, I like to make things awesome. So check out the Kickstarter, give it a follow, find the link to the pre-launch page down in the video description. I'll see you there. The Mithril Emperor has made his decree, and the Labyrinth Lord has set about constructing the Gauntlet Sprawl, a grand series of trials so perilous as to push competitors to their limits. How will these contenders survive? Cunning, skill, mystical powers, brute force. Destiny and doom hang in the balance for every single Gauntlet Runner. Welcome to Gauntlet Runner. I'm your game master, Esper. This is a semi-competitive form of D&D in which players attempt hardcore dungeon runs. Today's competitor is Mark Seifter, one of the co-creators of Pathfinder 2 and Starfinder, director of game design for Battlezoo, member of the Roll for Combat YouTube channel, and host of his own YouTube channel, Arcane Mark. So, will he hit the mark in this dungeon, or will he only find the path to doom? Welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me on here. I think with my dialogue, I'm likely to find the path to doom, but hopefully we'll find it in a way that's fun and flavorful and different from all the other doomed adventurers who died horribly in this dungeon.
Yeah, you will probably see some bloodstains as you are going.
Oh man, are
through.
you keeping little marks on the dungeon where the other people died so I can see like skull marks on Foundry where they died?
You had a
awesome.
dream last night, and that dream might have given you some mystical visions of the fate of someone else who attempted this.
That's right. Let me see what
Tell us just a little bit about your character. I am showing some of the stats on the screen here, but just give us the basic,
Okay,
who is he? What do we see?
So the basic idea is that there is a god named Morpheus, who is the god of dreams. Phantasos is a creation of Morpheus's, is a child of Morpheus. Has basically the statistics of an Aarakocra, but is a unique being that Morpheus created to just sort of go around and be eyes for Morpheus and see what is there in the world. So as a being created by Morpheus, Phantasos is a cleric, and given Morpheus's domains, Phantasos is going to be the Twilight domain cleric of Morpheus, and is basically in this dungeon, sort of acting almost as a spy for Morpheus, as Morpheus's eyes, so I chose the spy background.
Brilliant. And it is quite interesting that you chose the god Morpheus, and you'll see why here in just a moment. So, if you're ready, let's go ahead and dive right in.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to die.
Phantasos, you are in a room with a stonework architecture, and there's a stairway descending. It descends to some lower area. In the room with you are two armored guards and a cloaked man. These men, led you to this place to begin with. And the man in the cloak, he gestures at that stairway. Gauntlet Runner, down there is your trial. Your challenge is to make it all the way through the gauntlet. You have 3 hours in which to do so. Take heed. Sanctuaries are marked with the symbol of your patron, Morpheus the Dreamer. There are no monsters in the sanctuaries, no traps. As long as nothing follows you in, it is a secure place. And now, your time has come to descend.
Very well, by Morpheus's will. And then fly down into the tunnel.
Sure. Alas, your wings do not avail you in the corridor, but you can descend cautiously on your talon-like feet.
Yes, they move a little slower than others' feet, but it'll be all right.
You're no worse off than a dwarf.
That's
certainly
down, true.
You head down stony stairs. You're in a corridor. The walls are made of some masterwork masonry. And here and there you see these wrought iron sconces affixed to the wall with ever-burning flames in them.
Do those seem like they were created by the Gauntlet to help Gauntlet runners? Are they potentially a type of treasure that I can loot? So I think that
they don't strike you as treasure. They strike you simply as a means of illumination.
I'll continue onward for now. Fantasus is a little cautious. He knows that Morpheus wanted him to come here, so he doesn't want to betray his god by just dying immediately in the hallway. Yeah, I'll let you know if I change it, but my standard operating procedure is stealth and caution first.
Okay.
I am an observer, so if I just rush through and I don't see something interesting, even if I die when I go back to Morpheus in the Sanctum of Tranquility, I want to be able to report something interesting to him. So it'd be better to have died but have seen everything than to have made it through and seen nothing. From that, I will go to the corner and kind of peek around the corner where I would still have cover from anything that was right there. And seeing as how nothing has
I'll
been
nudge
shown,
your token a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. Interesting.
You
So it
peer
looks
around
like
the
there's some kind
corner.
of mushrooms that I can just slightly see.
Yes, the masonry corridor soon is going to be opening up into what appears to be a cave with rough, irregular, natural cave-like walls, and there are some large, giant, you might even say, mushrooms, like man-sized mushrooms. They have stalks, some of them fruiting bodies, quite a few of them. There's a dampness and a bit of a mildewy smell emanating from that direction.
Sure. I guess I will try just an untrained nature to see if I recognize these mushrooms. I was created in the astral plane, so I don't know a lot about the nature of this world, but maybe I saw it in a dream once when I was drifting around back and forth. And that would be the result if I get a lucky roll on this. This is just a flat D20. Whoa! Hey!
Starting things
Morpheus
off with a
be
bang. The mushrooms as well do not rouse your wariness. They don't seem to be toxic things or poisonous. They just are big. They might even be edible, some of them. In fact, with that good of a roll, you know that some of them are edible.
I also spot what looks like a wider area, and this claustrophobia is getting to me, so I will go to the edge, continue to sneak and use the weight.
When you step there, an iron gate slides down from behind you.
Uh-oh.
Doesn't make a lot of noise, but it does seal you in.
If only I was fewer than 20 pounds, I would have a retreat. But that's okay, because if I die here, I get a one-way quick ticket back to Morpheus, so that's fine. It's probably faster than walking. So I will continue onward, and then once I get here, I take off.
Sure, the ceiling is not high. It is a 10-foot ceiling, but you can stretch out your wings and lift up, a couple feet off the ground.
That's better than nothing. All of those
why don't you go ahead and
seem
make
good.
a perception check, because you've specified that you're being extra wary, so
Sure.
Let's see if there's anything of note.
I will give it a shot. So that's going to be at a +3. Whoa!
The high rolls continue. There is a sound. You hear something up ahead and to the west. Movement.
Okay.
Movement. Slow, kind of erratic, shuffly movement, steps perhaps, and also a squeak, like a rat squeak, and a grunt following that.
I'm going to try to fly over behind these mushrooms and see if I can just barely see something over there.
You see a man with undead flesh, grays and greens, a threadbare, nondescript tunic for clothing, and there are rats crawling on him, and he pulls one off of his cheek that's trying to gnaw at him. And he tosses the rat down to the ground, and it scurries, and there are some others crawling on him and causing him some agitation. Otherwise, he just is sort of listlessly hanging about. You can get a good amount of cover there amongst the giant mushrooms.
Great. In that case, I might as well take the moment to shoot him from the distance before he can close in with me with my heavy crossbow.
Yep, you could take your shot. Another thing that I might note is that you do see a corridor up there to the northwest that seems to be leading out of this cave area.
You're right. Well, this guy seems actually really distracted. Like, he's even distracted by the rats.
He flails at a rat, and it squeals at him and tries to nip at his ankles.
I think I'm going to, instead of shooting, I think I'm going to live... try to take the safe road and sneak. I'm gonna try to use these mushrooms for cover and hope that maybe like by timing it when he's the most distracted for the rats to try to get like an advantage if I can on.
Yep, sure, makes sense. Tell you what, could you move your token to like thereabouts?
To there, you say?
Yeah. So you're sneaking along and using these giant mushrooms to great effect. And you're waiting for just that right moment, and it seems like that your plan's a good one. But there's something you notice right here. You couldn't see it before just due to some this larger fruiting body blocking your vision, but you can see it now. And you identify another mushroom. We're kind of rolling with that natural 20 that you rolled with your nature check. There is a mushroom right here that you are certain is a shrieker. And if you take one step forward, you're going to come into some not as big mushrooms, and it will certainly detect you. Another thing you're noticing is that to the east, it seems like there's not cave wall behind those mushrooms there.
Interesting.
Yeah, you couldn't see that before, but now that you're here, you can tell, like, no, there's nothing solid behind this patch here.
So I could theoretically go that way, but that's already within the Shrieker's purview, it sounds like.
Yep.
So it'll shriek before I get to there.
Yeah, it seems like if you continue forward through the mushrooms, the Shrieker's going to go off. But if you stay out of the mushrooms...
Even if I go into this thing, it'll go off, right?
You think if you take any step forward, it'll go off. But if you stay out here, there's blockage from larger mushrooms to where you can't see it, it can't see you.
And can I see into where there's no wall there with my 300-foot dark vision?
It's not a matter of darkness. It's just a matter of the mushrooms kind of being in the way.
Understood. So it's a pretty heavy sort of almost canopy of mushrooms.
You're seeing like, bits, like slivers, and like, there's something, a tunnel or something back there.
Okay, that could be dangerous too. For all I know, there are dangerous mushrooms back there that can't be seen because of the normal mushrooms that are blocking it off. So, so that's a Shrieker. That's going to go off if there's any motion near it.
Yeah, actually, let me just go ahead and make this token visible to you of the Shrieker.
Okay.
There you go. Yep, you're noticing that.
That's going to go off if there's any motion near it, I guess. So you said I identified the Shrieker. Do I know, like, how these guys... how they work? So if I quietly shot at it from outside of its range, do you think I would be able to do that? It wouldn't go off after the first hits?
You think everything about that sounds great. The only thing that might give you a bit of pause is the sound of your crossbow being shot and reloaded.
Yeah, the
might get the attention of the zombie.
That's why I'm going to try it. Yeah, I'm going to have to time it with the rats because otherwise it may hear the twang of the crossbow. I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to do my best to take down the Shrieker with the arrow. So should I roll like an attack roll and a stealth?
I'm going to have you do an attack roll, and I'm going to have the zombie do a perception check.
All right. That sounds great. So my attack roll should surely enough to be hit in immobile.
Quite easy to hit. So you shoot it. You do like a D10 plus dexterity.
Yes, I do. So sorry, I should roll the damage. I was too busy being worried about the zombie over there.
So, I mean, there's the shot of the crossbow, but the zombie doesn't seem to have connected that with there being a person there, and it's just kind of shuffling about and fussing with some rats.
Okay.
That was a good shot. You think just one more of those and you'll have destroyed the Shrieker.
In that case, I'll wait a little bit longer instead of just doing it immediately the first moment that the rats do anything to the zombie, just so it's not like, oh, there were two things like right next to each other. And then after maybe 2 or 3 more distractions with the rats, I'll take another shot.
Okay, take your shot, and zombie will repeat the perception check.
And if I have advantage on stealth, will that help? Oh, right, it changes my passive up by 5, right?
Yeah, you're certainly
I probably would have used, or not, sorry. If I have a plus 1d4 on a stealth check, that wouldn't help my passive stealth, right?
I really wouldn't worry about the passive stealth. Take your shot, you destroy the Shrieker. It's not going to function anymore. And
Excellent.
the zombie turns his head in your general direction.
All right.
It takes some shuffling steps out and starts looking around. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Well, we'll do my best. Oh, no!
What was that about your best? I don't know. The zombie seems to have noticed you over there, crossbow owlish man, and I need you to make an initiative check.
And yes, it was even better.
Okay. So you wildly beat the zombie's initiative. No big surprise there. It looks like it's starting to move in your direction, having noticed you.
Okay.
What do you do?
I think I'll have to actually just attack it and then fly back to my previous place behind the mushrooms.
You can shoot at it. It's going to be mushrooms giving it quite a bit of cover. There's fruiting bodies and caps and stems all over the place, and they grow up almost all the way to the 10-foot ceiling. But you can take your shot if you want.
Does that put me at disadvantage?
No disadvantage. It'll have +5 to its AC.
I can move before and after my action. So I will move out from the mushrooms, I will shoot at it, and then I will move to where I want to go.
You shimmy your way through the stalks of the giant mushrooms, flap your wings, and get yourself back into this position where you're at now, behind a little bit of mushrooms for some semblance of cover.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly right. And
There
I
you
would
go.
take my shot while I was in the open, because that's the easier time to take it.
Okay.
Still not good enough with a 1.
You're a man of extremes. 19s
Yeah.
and 20s and natural ones. The zombie moans and comes staggering over to you. It has to go into a dash as it's a slow-moving thing. Its hands reach out with vicious cruelty and undead malice. Back to you.
As far as I can go, which is here.
Okay. The zombie makes an opportunity attack roll against you. You nimbly evade his ripping hands, flap your wings, and get yourself to the opposite side of the cave.
And I
So have
will
your action.
take my shot, which, of course, is... Oh, and maybe that hits a zombie. I don't know what their armor class is. I'll take it when it's clear, when it's a clear shot.
You hit it.
Oh, nice.
It is a staggering, ungainly thing.
I am so lucky that 8 was enough to hit something.
Right on the money.
7 damage.
Your crossbow bolt lodges into its shoulders. The thing wheels about and begins staggering back in the other direction. So stupid from its rotted out brain to realize that, it is going to have a hard time in this cat and mouse game with this quickly flying creature. It gets within reach of you, but that was a dash. Its turn's over. Back to you.
Okay. This tool of calculating the total distance by doing all the lines is awesome.
Yeah, very helpful. Okay, opportunity
So
attack from the zombie.
it will get to attack me.
It rips at you, 15 to hit.
That will hit unless I had some kind of thing, which I don't think I did.
The thing rips at you for 3 damage.
All right.
Fantasos, a minor wound, right?
That's pretty significant. I will take my shot as I was moving past.
Fantasos, You leap out, again, flapping your wings. The zombie rips you a bit for 3 damage as you go from the opportunity attack. While you're at like the apex of your vault, you angle your heavy crossbow and nail it again with another bolt. It staggers back with like a crossbow bolt sticking out of its belly. You land over there on the ground. You seem to be beating this thing. On its turn, it's going to shuffle and stagger across the room, and again get right up to just about to grasp you when it's back to your turn.
It looks like it's down and low.
Yep, it looks in pretty bad shape. It's got 2 crossbow bolts sticking out of it. Maybe the rats are even starting to abandon ship.
Well, you know, a rat knows when to leave a sinking ship, right?
Yeah, well, there's an owl right there, so they're terrified.
Oh yeah, I'm like their natural enemy.
Yeah.
So if I shot right in its face, I have disadvantage, but it doesn't make an attack of opportunity unless I move away, right?
Right. Or you could try your talons.
You know what? Maybe I could try my talons. They're kind of terrible, but this zombie looks really low, and I don't really like disadvantage. Thanks for the tip. I think I'm gonna give that a shot. Hit. Oh no, I got it.
All right.
So,
you rake the zombie with your talons.
5.
I'm going to do a Constitution saving throw on behalf of the zombie. And you rake the thing and like rip half the skin off of its face. And you think it's about to fall down, but it recovers itself.
Oh no.
It's still going. Undead
is,
Fortitude is keeping it in the game.
That is what I get for not actually trying to identify the zombie. Can I just sort of step a little bit behind the mushrooms and then call it done?
Okay, sure. You avail yourself of the giant mushroom to get half cover without provoking the opportunity attack. We go to the zombie's turn. It will strike at you. You have +2 to your AC.
All right.
It grasps out for you. A mere 9, getting nothing but a stalk of giant mushroom in its hands.
All right.
Back to you.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Certainly
I have not identified this creature. For all I know, it can't use that ability again when it's already used it.
If only it were so. Let's see what it's got. Again, you rip at its undead flesh with your talons, but the thing just will not go down. Do you hold your ground?
You know what? I'm going to retreat even farther into the mushrooms, just a little bit, and see what it does.
Are you wanting to stay within its reach, or are you provoking?
I'm gonna stay within its reach, but just try to have even more mushrooms between me and hit, just like inching away while staying within its reach.
Gotcha. I think half cover is about all you'll be able to afford where you're at. The thing continues to grasp at you as though it were made for nothing but mayhem and destruction. It's only a 10. You avoid the attack once again. Have at it.
I'm gonna roll with disadvantage. I never like to do that. They were all the same anyway.
You shot it.
How about that?
Ooh, okay. This is going to be a bit trickier. Let's see what it can do here. The zombie's Undead Fortitude comes to a 17, which is 1 under a success. The crossbow bolt nails it right in the forehead, and it collapses.
Morpheus has guided me to this victory.
You feel that your divine patron's hand is at work. Truly, his blessing must be upon you. All is quiet and still, except for a few, last scurrying rat getting into whatever hole it crawled out of.
He's decided that he's going to examine what's going on in the tunnel and the corridor first, in case there's like some kind of minor scrape with poisonous fungi or something like that for healing up. Might be a big mistake. Let's see. So he's first going to try to examine, use perception to see what might be on the other side of these impenetrably thick fungi.
Mm-hmm. If you want, you can move just a bit more so that you can see.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, it just suddenly appeared.
There you go. You're seeing a tunnel back there. There's no illumination. It's curving in a roughly eastward direction. Everything is quiet that way.
Okay. So if that's quiet, then I'm going to flop on over quietly. Try to peek in here. Oh, but this is going to be narrow from the fungi, so I probably have to land. All right, that also turns the corner.
The
Well,
masonry walls resume here, and it becomes once again a worked stone corridor.
I think I like this one better because it's just slightly wider. There might be some wing space in like some of these. And even though that probably doesn't mean I can actually fly all the way through it, it's got better vibes. It's a little less claustrophobic if you can stretch your wings. I figured for a child of Morpheus, that's just the kind of thing you want in your space. So I didn't get hit by anything yet.
You've rolled well enough on that nature check to deduce that none of these mushrooms here are anything dangerous.
I think I'm going to keep going quietly and listening. And if I hear the sounds of something dangerous up ahead, then I'll consider using my healing spells on that missing hit points.
Go ahead and make a perception check. Let's just kind of set the scouting stage and see if there's anything worth noting.
Let's see what I got here. Not the best, but that's all right.
Okay. Everything seems pretty quiet as far as you can tell. Yeah, a couple more giant mushrooms. It opens up into a bit of a wider cavity and seems to keep going in an eastward direction.
Oh yeah, and after the fight with the zombie, in my standard procedures, I will reapply my initiative advantage thing that has no duration, and I will re-up guidance.
So you've come to there. You've come to there. You see that the cave tunnel is continuing eastward, and it is descending to some kind of lower area. There's something moving down there. This time, not like shuffling footsteps, but more of almost a skittering sound. Larger than a rat. There's something down there moving, some creature of some kind. You're at the top of the slope, the descending slope, and you look down into what appears to be some kind of lower den. You can't see the full extent of it just because of the blocking walls and the terrain, but you see the creature down there. It's quadrupedal, some kind of chitinous body. Long, almost exaggeratedly large antennae with all kinds of tufted feelers, and it does seem to have some mandibles or mouth parts that could deliver a bite.
All right.
A bit of a hunched back, and a tail as well, a tail that comes out and sort of flays into various spokes at the end.
So
the antennae are percolating in your direction. You think it's somehow sensing your presence, despite the fact that you are quite sneaky. So would you like to continue to be sneaky, maybe try to hide yourself, or do you think you need to just go as fast as you can and get away from this thing? Because it seems like it's going to start coming up that slope.
So I think that I was pretty stealthy, I had a 22. I felt good about it, but it noticed me anyway. So I'm thinking it has some way to detect me when I'm within range of it.
Yeah.
That means I want to go as fast as I can away.
Phantasos, as you go flying when you can, running when you can't fly, as quickly as you can, because you can tell this thing noticed you somehow and is going to start following you.
Yes.
You come to the other side, to the corridor, and you come to a stone door. It's a heavy stone door, has a grip on it that you could pull it to open it. You hear the thing back there skittering, and it's going to be arriving probably soon. I think for the sake of the current situation, we're going to put things into initiative. That's going to help us organize. It's your turn. Initiative has begun.
So yeah, I'm going to try to jury-rig open this door with my thieves' tools. If that seems like possible. If what you're saying is that I see in front of me and it's not really a door, it's more of a stone slab that you just have to push and there's not...
It has a fittings into the wall itself. There's a grip on it. Just kind of a very simple protruding grip where you could pull it open. When you gave it like a little careful test, it just didn't budge with a minimal amount of pulling. It seems like, oh, this is a heavy thing. I need to haul
So
this.
basically, in game parlance, it's not the free interact on your turn, but it takes your action to open.
It would take an action and you'd make a strength check. You could instead take an action to study the door and see if there's some way you could apply a thieves' tool check to help you in some kind of way.
At
The
that
thing
point.
does not sound immediately close by, but you think it'll probably be here in like a couple rounds, 2, maybe 3.
I will use a bonus action to heal myself, and I will just openly cast a spell over here
Okay.
in this corner where the door is, and then I'm gonna try to hide like amidst the mushrooms, not touching the floor, but somewhere amidst the mushrooms that is not at the door, so that maybe the creature will come over to where it heard the spell at the door and think maybe I went through the door and closed it or something like that.
Okay. You're casting Healing Word?
Yes, as a bonus action. That will heal me to full no matter what I roll, but I'm
okay.
I'm happy
So
to
we'll
roll.
just put you at full hit points. Makes sense.
And then I'm basically going to turn when I'm hiding in a place that is not a good place to be hiding because it'll come right past me.
Not touching the... Okay, so you're like...
Yeah, I'm
hugged
going to try
up.
to be standing on the mushrooms because they go 10 feet tall, so they should be high enough to do that, hopefully.
Very well. Okay, so
All right.
let's see what you hear of the creature's movement. A scuttling, skittering noise. It's not yet in the cave chamber. It seems to be in that tunnel over in that sort of area.
Okay. Well, that all makes sense.
Back to you.
In that case, I am going to, without touching the ground, I'll try to go here so that it can go hopefully, right past me through the corridor and give up. And I will be stealthing.
You hear the thing rustling around over there. You can see it disturbing some of the mushroom bodies, and it comes out into the midst of the cave, and its antennae go one way and the next, and it maybe circles around a bit. It's used a dash, essentially, is what it's done. And then its antennae eventually end up percolating right in your direction.
Curses. Foiled again.
Yeah. Curses indeed. Back to you, Phantasos.
All right.
You've got a decent amount of cover, but it seems to have some sort of sense to where it's picking up on where you are.
Oh, yeah, definitely does. Maybe it would be possible to defeat it. I mean, you never know until you try, I guess. And
It doesn't look
certainly
like
is
the
a good
worst thing out there. It's not giant.
You're
How
right.
bad could it be?
It's only me size. What could go wrong? Sneaking didn't work. So
It's like some kind of big bug thing, maybe.
So I'm going to give it an astral plane hello, which is a heavy crossbow shot.
Okay.
That likely misses unless it's as bad as a zombie.
Here's what happens. Your crossbow bolt glances off the thing's carapace. It has this natural armor, so it's not really a hit in the sense of dealing damage to it. And you also notice a little bit of rust crumbles off, as though the tip of the quarrel immediately corroded upon contact with this thing.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Very interesting indeed.
All right.
All right, the creature is going to come scuttling towards you. It scurries over, and its antennae focus onto your crossbow upon the head stock area, the metal area, the actual bow part. But you obviously don't like that. Make a dexterity saving throw if you'd like to avoid it touching your crossbow.
I would like to avoid it touching my crossbow. I'll do my best on this dexterity saving throw. That is not my best. Every time I say I'll do my best, it's always a natural one.
The antennae trace upon the prods of your crossbow and they begin to corrode. It's not destroyed, but it is damaged. What do you do about that?
Well, in that case, I do not like that. But it seems to me that my friend here is very interested in my metal objects more so than me.
Mm-hmm.
There is, perhaps there's an opportunity to negotiate with my rapier in a way that is different than an astral plane hello, in the sense that if I dropped it something that was more substantial than just a little bit of metal pieces on my bow that is like full metal and tried to feed it with that, maybe I'd be able to trick it into letting me go, even though I actually have like so many crossbow bolts that it's beyond belief. So would I potentially
so
be
you
able
take
to
your
deceive
rapier
it?
and you drop it right in front of the thing, and it does seem quite interested in that pretty much full metal blade. You still have your whole turn. Action, speed, everything.
So, but like, if I moved away, it wouldn't like start. I think it wouldn't start flinging its antennae at me and my my other stuff.
It seems still more interested in the rapier because it's right in front of it, and the thing's pretty much made fully of metal.
Well, in that case, don't mind if I do. I will dash, and looks like I would probably only be able to get not even there because too many of those were mushrooms.
All right, so you flap over to there. The thing seems more interested, and it begins to work on corroding the rapier. What do you do next?
I'm just gonna continue this way. I can actually get to his old lair down here. I'm hoping this isn't a dead end, because otherwise I have really done myself dirty.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. So on your next turn, you go down into a lower cave, which I might describe as a lair.
Okay.
Two things of note. First of all, there is a bit of clutter or debris, some remnants left over of something that this creature had eaten. Wood, and mainly, and some cloth. You can see a staff, a wooden staff, and it looks like a pretty nice, well-made staff. At the far end of this cave layer, there is a tunnel that is leading down into an even lower area still. And by the sounds of it, there are more of these creatures down in the lower area. Okay. You get the sense that it's probably very dangerous if you keep going. But that staff right there, that catches your eye.
Okay. So I definitely do not want to go to a place that is full of these things. My friend over there,
the scuttling sounds. It's a bit distant, but it seems like if you leave this immediate cave, you're going down somewhere deeper and more dangerous.
Yeah, I do not want to get within an antennae range of any of those. And it seems like that might be like outside of the bounds of my gauntlet run if I'm going
Seems like it, yes.
You know what? Rusty and we made a trade. My rapier for a staff.
Okay. You pick up the staff, and it's fashioned in a wondrous sort of way. It looks like the staff that a spellcaster would wield, and it's a sturdy thing too. It would also function as a quarterstaff. Just holding it in your hand, you can already tell it's a +1 quarterstaff.
Well, but I mean,
you suspect there's more to it. Yeah, you suspect there's more to it than just that, though. It would take a little bit of time to deduce what it might be.
Well, that's not
it would take at least an action to make an Arcana check.
So I definitely won't be using that as a quarterstaff, but I'd love to identify, but I don't quite have time for this because Rusty is still making a meal of my rapier while he's doing that. I don't want to pay him a second toll. I'm prepared to do it if I have to. But I am going to basically flap back, and I want to go actually here. It's like more than 30 feet, more than what looked like his antenna range from the entrance to his little cave. So maybe he's full from my rapier. Maybe I'm out of his antenna range. And if I hide here, I will pull out my crowbar instead of that, so that if he does notice me, even though I have this theory that his antennae will come from my crowbar and not finish off the job on the crossbow.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
He's about finished up with the rapier. He's corroded it into rust and eaten the rust. He's going to start looking around again. The antennae are going to pick up on you. Are you willing to sacrifice that crowbar?
So the antennae would pick up on me.
Yeah, eventually he'll get to a spot where he's within 30 feet of you.
I think I've got to give up that crowbar.
Okay.
There's a little tear in my eye as my trusty crowbar is also sacrificed to Rusty.
I'll turn off the initiative tracking. I don't think it's necessary just at this moment. You sacrifice your crowbar, and in exchange, just kind of slip away once again while the creature busies itself with corroding and eating that.
That's right.
Are you thinking about going to that stone door again?
It's the only choice. I have to do it. Okay.
So you've got some time while the creature's busy with the crowbar. What do you do?
I will take that time to look at the door and see if there's a way to not not do it with strength because I do not have strength.
For an object,
Yeah,
you
I
want to
guess
do
that's
either
fair.
a perception or an
I'd
investigation
love
check.
to roll a perception. I'm good with that.
Okay.
If it's just something I can see by looking at it, I'm good with that. How about 11?
You don't notice anything. Nothing's standing out to you about this door. It's fairly simple. I would say probably what happens is your character is just going to spend a few rounds like struggling and like eventually get the thing open. Just as you start to hear the sound of Rusty maybe getting curious again and kind of skittering about, and then you slip in and you've come in here, and I think we can safely say you've pulled the thing shut behind you.
Yes. And if I don't get attacked right away, I would like to take a look at the staff. If I do get attacked right away...
Something is happening right away, but it's not an attack. You come into a circular chamber. To your left, there's a stone pedestal, and to your right, there is another stone pedestal. The one on the left has a grappling hook sitting on top of it. No rope, just a grappling hook.
I love
The one on the
hooks.
right has a glass phial, a potion of some kind on it. At the northern end of the room, near this open exit, is a wooden, smaller pedestal, the top of which is carved into the likeness of an owl. Now, as soon as you've opened this door and come into the room, the pedestals, the two bigger stone ones, they begin sinking. Anything you'd like to do real quickly before they're gone?
I know I'm going to take a glass vial because that's different. And while I love grappling hooks, I like collecting things I don't have yet more.
Okay, so you have acquired some kind of potion. The pedestals recess into the ground and are covered by a stone.
Got it. Cool. Well, this is a safe area according to at least the guy at the beginning.
Yep.
So I'm going to take the moment to try to identify my my staff and my potion. And you know what? My dream last night, I saw this brass orc who was being destroyed by a non-brass orc, and then birds flew out of it, and I thought that meant something that I cared about or that was in the dungeon was going to get destroyed, like the brass orc. So I prepared mending today entirely based on that dream. So I'll also mend the partially in need of mending heavy crossbow as well.
Sure. It only just took one instance of corrosion, so I think a cantrip could solve that. If it was
Yeah,
worse,
if it was fully destroyed, no way.
Yeah, if it was worse, you'd probably need someone to properly reforge the prods. But there you go. Your crossbow no longer has a -1 to damage.
Yay! I like that, and I'll do my best to try I prayed to Morpheus that I once again had a natural 20 dream about this staff and this file. I'll do the staff first because I got it first. I'm more curious about it than I am of the vial because, you know what? Vials could also just be a healing potion or poison, and they probably are one of those two things even without identifying them. But a staff, that's a world of mystery that could contain anything. And with a 3, it still could contain anything. I don't know what it is.
You take a moment to look at the staff, to study it. You really are not sure what it is. It's got something else to it besides just the +1. I'll just say that you get the sense that you could attune to this.
So that's one of my 3 hours if I did that.
Yes.
Okay.
The potion, you can just kind of study it. It has a kind of a creamy color to it and a very light, nutty aroma. It seems like just a basic potion of healing.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's why I tried to identify the staff first, because I assumed that there's a high chance that any random vial you find in a dungeon is either a potion of healing or poison. And Lord Morpheus would never have left me poison in a safe room. Like, come on.
Certainly not.
I barely made it out alive just from this part so far. I think it would be hubris towards the gods to assume that I'm going to run out of time instead of running out of being dead. So I will attune to this item, completely not knowing what it was or if it's helpful to a cleric such as myself.
During your short rest, is there anything else that you're doing?
I think that I'm sort of meditating to Morpheus. I'm looking at that icon of him that's up there on the side of the room and sort of offering a prayer of thanks for safety to Morpheus and trying to think about the task ahead. And I think the vision I saw was not heavily related to what I faced so far. So I'm more deeply pondering my dream because I think what I see next is going to be related to that dream.
I'll recap the dream. It's a real quick one anyways, just for the sake of everybody who's watching. The dream you had the night previously, you saw a brass orc and a living orc. And the orc of flesh destroyed the brass orc with his axe, clove it wide open. And from the crumpled brass heap, a raven came out, squawking angrily. And it pecked out one of the orc's eyes, and he fell to the ground, clutching his wound. And then weeds and branches and roots grew up around him and took him. You don't seem to have come across anything that relates to that.
Not directly, but Morpheus sometimes speaks in metaphor.
The name of the staff is Staff of the Hardy Voyager. You can cast once each through the staff, False Life and Long Strider. The staff will regain those properties, those spells, every dawn.
Awesome. I love False Life and Long Strider.
Yeah, indeed. They're both pretty helpful for you. The Long Strider will last an hour. Your walking speed will go up to 35. No concentration. False Life gives you 2d4 plus 4 temporary hit points, and those will just last until they get eaten up or until you complete a long rest.
Sounds like, to me, like we should have Long Strider and False Life.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll up the temporary hit points.
I will roll 2d4 plus 4. There we go. 1 point below average.
There you go. You have 8 temporary hit points. Excellent.
That's almost like a full health bar. Fantasos feels just this feeling of being like that shrouded, like his entire life is almost like doubled up by this magic. And even though the staff probably was just some dead wizard who got killed by the monsters in the trial, he thinks maybe Morpheus left it to him, so he offers a nod of praise to the owl for this. And then he's gonna continue onward.
Fantasos, you have a new confidence in your stride. What do you do next?
I will peek once again. I'm confident but still stealthy, so I will peek around this corner. Ooh, look at that.
Fantasos, you creep through the corridor cautiously, and you're seeing a bigger area. And across the way, there is a door that you notice, a nicer looking one. It's wooden and has some brass fittings. This large room that you're seeing before you, the ceiling is actually substantially higher. It's a 25-foot high ceiling. On the ceiling, there are a number of stone giant spiders, as though petrified giant spiders fused to the ceiling. At the north end of this larger room, you see 4 alcoves, and each alcove has a stoneware urn resting in it.
Before I even enter, I'm going to just try to take in the vista and take a look at these spiders and urn and try to use perception to just kind of look at them, give them that big owl eye.
If you make a perception check, make it at disadvantage.
Oh, I will roll another one. We'll just
dark.
you'll use the worst of the two.
Yep, that's fine.
That is the worst of the two.
Okay,
it's much
so
worse.
it's totally dark. You're not making out any details. Just 4 alcoves, urns in them.
Hold on, I should add the D4. So it's a total of 10.
Nothing else stands out to you.
Okay. So yeah, nothing else stands out. Just regular spiders, regular alcoves.
Just good old regular petrified spiders.
Yeah, I'm still a little skeeved by regular petrified spiders. Are they like all across the ceiling, or are
they are? Yep. So there are a number of them.
And they're like about me sized?
They're large size.
Ooh. Okay, that's spooky as all get out. And there's these urns. And there's nothing obvious like to do with the urns that I noticed. Because I was looking at the spiders. Was that the same perception check for looking at the urns, or should I roll a separate one?
Yes. We'll just consider that you did a scan over of the room.
And the disadvantage was also on the urns too.
Yes, right. The kind of northern half of this larger room, there's no illumination at all, so you're just looking into a shadowy, dim area.
I'll be flying about. I'll be halfway between the ceiling and the floor. I think I might want to see what's down this corridor. So I'm just gonna start kind of, stealthily fly in.
As soon as you enter into the room, the lid on that second urn rustles a bit, and it pops open, and out flies an apparition, shrieking, and it comes to stab at you with a spectral knife.
Whoa!
An 11 to hit does not hit your AC.
That will miss.
What would you do? Would you just keep flying through, or would you do something else? It's a momentary apparition. It doesn't stick around. It just fades away instantly.
It's not like it was a ghost, but it was like an apparition. And I was looking down the hallway, so it wasn't relying on the fact that I was looking at the urn, because when I looked at it, they didn't fly at me. So
it my eyes once you entered.
Is there something else I can use to try to identify these urns? Maybe the fact that it had an apparition in it, it's clearly no ordinary urn now at this point. Could I try to use,
Yeah, you could make an intelligence arcana check to consult your knowledge. That would be your action. And you would still have a good amount of speed left.
How about 10?
10. You're not sure what that is.
I can at least tell magic. Okay, well...
Something supernatural, that's for sure.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna keep on flying. Tell me how far I get before another one comes. Or do I get
go ahead and get into that next quarter. Okay, so you fly in, and then you kind of like fold your wings and land as best you can, as far as you can into that second corridor to the east.
That's right.
And there's a sound of laughter.
Uh-oh.
Bird almost got knifed. The door is talking to you. In the center of that wooden door, there is the brass face of an orc. What the hell are you supposed to be?
I am Phantasos. I am a child of Morpheus. Are you the brass orc who was torn asunder by the flesh orc?
I'm not an orc, I'm just a door.
But you're a door in the shape of a brass orc.
When you said that bit about him getting torn to pieces, you see one of his eyes kind of like cringe, wince maybe. He didn't like it when you mentioned that, even though he avoided the topic.
Morpheus has sent me to avenge you.
Morpheus? I don't know who the hell that is.
He is the Lord of Dreams, whose visage of an owl graces the rooms within, many of the rooms within this place.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have that kind of view. You're the only owl I've ever seen. And you look like a pretty dumb one, too. But aren't owls just supposed to have wings? You got arms. Did some mage confuse his experiment?
But perhaps the bird that you're more likely to have seen is a raven.
How do you know that?
Well, I told you.
Is this some kind of trick?
No, Lord Morpheus sent me here. He sent me here to avenge you and to defeat the one who did this to you.
Oh, he's dead and I've been rebuilt, so thank you very much. I don't need your help.
And he may have risen as an undead. I've already faced one undead monstrosity within these ruins.
I don't know, they dragged him off somewhere. You might be next, though.
I might. But Lord Morpheus sent me here, so it leads me to believe I at least might have a chance. And if it's all right with you...
You've made it farther than some have, so there's that.
Suppose there is. If it's all right with you, I would wish to continue onward. I do not wish to be enclosed by roots and branches and taken away. I wish to be able to deliver this task that Lord Morpheus has sent upon me to avenge you. He showed me what happened to you, and it could only have been that he was showing me that you have been wronged.
I would like you to make a charisma check. It's probably
so
persuasion.
I'm kind of lying because
this thing is.
I'm kind of lying here because Morpheus sent me this message, but in the message, the brass orc was mocking the other. The brass orc was mocking the other orc. There was clearly some things going on. I'm not necessarily. I'm not sure why he sent me here.
You're not necessarily his avenger.
It's not necessarily his avenger.
Then go
I'm kind
for
of trying to say that I am because I know that might make him more likely to let me through than if I didn't. So, should I roll deception for that?
Yes.
Hey!
Well done. Look, I'll unlock, but I don't want to hear you talking about that anymore.
Never again. I think you'll appreciate this more anyway. Neither of us wanted me to have to get my thieves' tools in there.
Yeah, I've already been violated more than once this week.
I certainly apologize. I will attempt to bring that up with the management when my soul moves on after I inevitably die in here.
Just go, okay? This whole conversation is making me mad.
Very well. And I will go through the door that I guess he unlocked, but I will open it.
Okay, you open the door. Who is that? A small figure, small man of some kind, maybe 3.5 feet tall, steps up there. He's wearing a black leathern raven mask and has kind of obnoxiously large, pointy ears protruding from behind it. He does seem to have a cloak and maybe some light armor and some weapons. The room itself has some open exits on the east end.
I see.
And it is illuminated.
Here, one here, one there.
You are a rather curious thing. I've never seen your like.
Fantaso says, "What a handsome creature! You're a raven, and I am an owl. It's almost fate that we have been brought together here in this dungeon."
You don't need to try to flatter me. I know I'm not handsome in the least, but
From an owl's perspective, you are, but although maybe not from a human's.
He seems unsure how to respond to that, and he kind of leans over, looking past you towards the door, and he kind of looks the door up and down, and then says,
you're welcome to enter. You're going to have to be moving eastward to get through the gauntlet.
Yes, that is what it seems. And I will enter the room. Is there anything you can tell me about these 3 pathways?
I cannot. I will tell you nothing about them. Other than this is a very dangerous place. You might already know that, though.
I do.
Would you like a companion? It could be helpful against the perils you might come across.
A companion, you say?
He gestures over to those 3 smaller doors on the west wall close to you.
I'm gonna take a look to see what seems to be on those doors. Are there like inscriptions with the names or like pictures
They're very
of some kind
plain.
of companion?
They're very plain, and they look identical.
Behind 2 of those doors are goats. Foul-tempered mountain goats. Behind one of the doors is a lizard man. I won't tell you which. Pick one if you would like a companion.
Are the lizard folk and the foul-tempered mountain goats all companions, and I get only one?
Yes, they are companions. They have been trained to obey and to fight and to be brave. They seem to be fulfilling their role correctly.
All right. Well, there have been many dangers in this dungeon so far, so while certainly if they decided to attack me, it could be dangerous. It's more dangerous to go alone. So I will choose one of the doors.
Certainly they will not betray you if you do not turn treacherous on them.
I would never betray a companion that was set in this dungeon that has been laid before me by Lord Morpheus.
Well, then I don't think you have anything to worry about, only to gain.
Yes. I'm going to roll an insight to see if I think this guy is lying to me about these doors in some way or trying to trick me to doing this for some reason. 20.
The read you get on him is that he is a creature of more means than some might imagine, being small and all. You think he is quite crafty and also dangerous. However, his dealings with you do not seem to be deceptive. You think he's been speaking truthfully to you. There's also a brief flash in your memory of a raven pecking out the eye of an orc.
That's right. And the raven that fluttered out of the broken brass orc and pecked out the eye of the other orc.
Yes.
That is the what raven I was thinking of when I was talking to the door before. So I got the sense that he seemed to be on the up and up, even at first, but wanted to use insight in case he was giving off any creepy tells.
Yeah, it seems like as long as you're not crossing him, then he's dealing with you through some sort of official role that he's been assigned to.
All right. So there are no inscriptions or other indications. There's just simply 3 doors, one on the left, one on the middle, and one on the right.
Yeah, pretty basic looking, simple wooden doors.
I'm going to try to use dream logic on this one. So in a dream, sometimes things fit together in a way that you wouldn't expect them to. So I think maybe the right door is the right door, because sometimes that kind of word association can happen in a dream. And so I'm going to try the door all the way on the right to see if I get a mountain goats or a lizard folk. So I will just check it for traps just in case with a perception check.
Before you open that door, allow me.
And Raven walks over to here, and he unlocks this door, and he shows you inside is a goat.
Just a goat behind this one. I will give you one chance, if you would like, to change your selection. Would you rather open the middle door?
I'm going to use insight on him to see if he's giving off any obvious tells. By this,
we'll go ahead and let your previous inside ride.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's still pretty much the same exchange.
Okay.
You still don't think that he's using any kind of deception.
Fair.
You think that there's a arrangement or a station that he is fulfilling, and he's kind of doing a duty.
Well, I could switch, and I do thank you for that offer, but then I'd be twice as likely to get a goat, and I'd rather have a lizard folk. So I will stay with my original.
He goes over here and unlocks this door and opens it.
Hate small closets.
A scaly man steps out. He's brandishing a carapace shield with spikes fastened to it, and he also seems to have some javelins in a sheath. He steps out, stretches his limbs, his tail swishes back and forth behind him.
We go?
Yes, we shall go, says Fantasos. So...
Well done. Well done. The way ahead is threefold. Choose as you will.
Indeed, there are 3 exits out of this chamber. To the north is a corridor of masonry with bright illumination. To the center is what looks like a more natural tunnel with a dim illumination. And to the bottom is another masonry corridor with dim illumination.
That makes sense to me. So, I think I'm going to give my voyage staff to my lizard folk friend. Here you go, my friend. I want to show you my sincerity by giving you this magic item that's attuned to me.
Big talk. No good.
And Raven interjects and he says,
You might want to speak to him in simpler ways. The common tongue doesn't come to him so easily. Good stick.
This good stick, magic. So he will give the quarterstaff to him.
He'll wield it in one hand, as well as he can.
So has the Raven guy backed off at this point? Like he's not saying anything more about these other 3 paths?
Well, he seems to be tight-lipped on where those paths lead. He's observing you and, the lizard man and just kind of watching and waiting.
Fantasos is going to take the one that was across from the lizard, since the lizard one was correct before, so maybe the one that's across from the lizard is also correct. He'd like his lizard friend to go a little bit ahead, because the lizard friend is melee, and Fantasos will kind of bring up the rear on that. Since this is a tight squeeze.
I go. Brave I.
How close do you want to stay behind Skiktas?
I think that I would prefer to be generally about 10 feet behind like this. But when we're around corners, I'll want to come up to the corners so that I can keep an eye on him.
Sure, that gives me a general idea. As you both have entered into this new section of masonry corridor, another iron gate slides down from the ceiling.
Uh-oh.
It curves eastward at the end of this stretch. Skeekthos peers around the corner. He will make a perception check.
Whoa, good work.
Room. Plant. Quiet.
Yes, says Fantasos. We found the brass orc and the raven. So now there will be plants. Then he tries to say it in a simpler...
That's true, your dream, your vision.
Yes, it was all in the vision. So he tries to say it in a simpler...
Moving.
He becomes suddenly quite agitated, and he grips that quarterstaff and actually takes a few steps forward.
That case, Fantasos will follow...
Okay. Yeah, you can do a quick move there, and then we're immediately going to be going into an initiative count here. And it seems that you've actually won the initiative. There are 4 plants that are emerging from these pots that they're in, and they come creeping along on root structures and stems and whatnot, and their branches and leaves are shuffling back and forth. Go ahead, Fantasos.
All right. Well, so I think I'm just going to take my shot with my heavy crossbow at these plants. How about a 13?
Hit.
That's going to be 6 damage from here.
Okay, it resists piercing. Your crossbow flies into essentially a bunch of branches and leaves and just doesn't stab as it would with a more, solid mass creature. Okay, so this one here is doing it's a dash, so it creeps along more slowly than a legged individual, and Skeekthos grips bravely the magic quarterstaff, or just staff I should say, and he swings it. Whap! That is a 20 to hit, which is a success. Nice. He's wielding it in one hand, d6 plus 3. He's got this carapace spiky shield in the other hand. Okay, so that is 6 damage fully. And he has a second attack he can do. Piercing, it's all piercing. Okay, so he shield bashes the creature, the plant creature, with the spikes, and doesn't really have a very good time of it. And then the shrub that is closest to him comes shambling in, and it strikes with a leafy branch. That does hit Skeekthos, and he is going to take some slashing damage, 3 of it. It scratches him somewhat on his scaly hide. Then there is a 4th one down here. It comes in. Oh, I don't think it can quite get there. So we'll say it's a dash to kind of close in and surround the lizard man. And then the shrub that you had shot, it also comes into the fray. Back to you, Fantasos.
All right. Well,
there's a cluster going on here.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to shoot the really, really hurt one with my crossbow on the ground that it's possible, even with the resistance, that I'll drop it.
Okay, I'll give it half cover. Go ahead. A hit.
All right.
They don't seem particularly difficult to strike. They're just shrubs. They're not very dexterous.
How about that? Eat 5 after having the damage on the really injured one.
Yep. You slay the thing, and the crossbow bolt stabs into its central mass, and it just falls over. All right, Skeekthos wields the staff once again, and he will swing at we'll go with the damaged one. Seems like a good choice. 10 is actually still a hit, and
awesome.
He clubs the thing for, 5 damage, which actually leaves it pretty well battered, and then he will do the second attack from his multi-attack,
right.
shield bashing it, and he bashes it into oblivion.
Excellent. So far,
and he'll hold his
good.
ground there, and he is going to be assailed twice by animated shrubbery. The first one is miss. Okay, they're both misses. They just kind of flail against his scaled hide and his carapace shield and do not injure him further. Back to you, Fantasos.
All right. Well, in this case, then I should be able to actually attack this one from here. So I will, I think. So I will take the talon because it's slashing. Maybe that'll work better against the plant. We'll see. It looks like a 10, but it might have
half cover.
Kind of cover.
You just barely miss.
Yeah,
You
I figured it might have
against
some
the stone
cover.
of the wall. Skeekthos will swing the staff, and once again, bash against a plant, he'll go at the one that's directly in front of him. And he will do 7 bludgeoning, followed up by a, let's go with a bite. He snaps against the leafy
Hasty plants.
creature. Yep. And that hits. A bite is also piercing damage. So be it. 4 reduces to 2. Okay, so it leaves the thing greatly injured, and it kind of shivers and twitches and will like disengage and shuffle back, recoiling into a corner. It seems that it does not want to just get destroyed. The 4th and final one of the plant creatures is still going strong, and it rakes at Skeekthos with its shrubby branch and does not hit it.
He blocked it with his shield, I guess.
Yes. It scrapes ineffectively against this carapace shield. What do you do, Fensos?
All right, I'm going to try to do that same talent thing that I tried last time for slashing. That one's a little better.
Yep, you hit easily this time. You get your talent in there and rake the thing.
All right. How about 5 slashing?
Seems effective.
Okay, that was good. Use stick and shield.
Yes, comboing
Actually,
with
the
your
shield
talent,
is spiked,
Skeekthos bashes the thing. There's a cracking sound of, branches snapping, and the thing falls, no longer animated, to the ground.
Awesome.
Plant death.
I think we can have mercy on the one that's at 1.
You're
If
speaking
it's
of
not
mercy, but he's just running over there
Oh,
and
that's
snapping
fine.
at the thing.
That's fine. He can finish it off.
Skeekthos is just utterly merciless and just like rips one of the main branches off of the thing, and it falls over.
You know what? He was biting
longer
it.
moving.
He wanted to have his daily value of vegetables, so that's fine.
He will sample the leaf. Seems good enough for him.
Okay. So I'm not going to heal him yet. I did an inefficient heal last time, and I'm low on magic at this point.
Scratch.
He licks at his superficial wound and does not seem deterred.
Let's go, says Fantasus.
Okay, he will come to here. He's going to roll a perception check to check the surroundings.
That makes total sense. I will as well. I can sort of see through there too.
Yep, there's a corridor heading to the southeast now.
Quiet. All.
Yeah, same to you. Everything seems still and quiet. It's dimly illuminated up ahead, though your dark vision is
Great.
really
if
good.
If it's quiet, if we're a little far back, I'll put up a resistance on myself, and then we can keep going.
Okay, yeah, nothing is rousing your suspicions, and you and Skeekthos make your way ahead, and you come to this chamber here that seems to be an intersecting point.
Oh,
as
where
though those
all
3
three of them-
paths.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, where the paths are now converging back. Directly to your east is now another heavy stone door. Not much in terms of embellishments on it. It's a double door this time, and each side has one of those grips.
It seems like we might be meant to open it together, I guess. I will check it for traps just in case.
Okay.
It does seem similar to last time, and if it's the safe zone thing, maybe it's just hard to open and not trap.
That's the impression you get.
All right. So, yeah, let's open it together, buddy.
Okay,
Let's
the two of
go.
you haul
Open.
at the heavy stone door. It does take a bit of effort, but within 1, 2, 3 rounds, I'm sure you'll have it opened. And it indeed does reveal another circular chamber, a bluish, dim, ever-burning flame illuminating. And at the northern wall, upon the northern wall, carven into the stone, a bas-relief of a pillared temple with a stylized owl perched atop it. Once again, a symbol of your patron, Morpheus the Dreamer.
It's like an image of home. No,
Den.
Skeekthos struggles to say the right word, but he seems to be indicating sanctuary.
yes, says Fantasos. But let's keep going.
Okay, so
I don't even know if lizard folk will get a hit die if we rested an hour, but my spells will wear off, so we're going.
Sure. Yeah, he could short rest and spend it, but there's probably wisdom in not letting the spells time out.
Plus, there's a 3-hour total amount of time in the dungeon, so...
That's true. You haul open the other set of heavy stone doors. There's a wide corridor stretching east on the other side, and then it cuts to the north shortly after.
Fantasos likes this corridor much more than other ones, because his wings can actually fly him through here.
Okay.
Rats.
Skikos looks out and says rats. Are you looking out?
I'm listening from here.
Just listening? Okay. Yeah, there's a little, tiny scampering sound of rodent feet. Doesn't sound immediately close by.
Gesture forward and continue to fly down the corridor.
Okay, Skikos creeps along, and then you come and you get more of a view yourself. The corridor is connecting to some kind of larger area, some kind of larger complex. It looks like there are 3 ways to go: to the west, to the north, and to the east. The northern way ahead does have some rats, regular-sized rats, just kind of scurrying here and there, scrounging about.
Let's keep going and see what's in the west or east, because if we go past those and there are enemies there, they could potentially pincer or attack us.
To the west, you're seeing that there's some kind of ledge, and then on the other side of the ledge, it drops down into a lower area or a pit. To the east, it looks like a pool, like a man-made pool. The stonework has a ledge and water of some variety, and overall things are pretty well illuminated.
Sounds good.
The corridor straight ahead, it seems to have a section where it also has a bit of that pit connecting with it. There's an inset area here where the rats are coming in and out of, and then the end of the corridor cuts back to the east.
This pit, how far down does it seem? Or maybe I just can't see the bottom from here.
Yeah, sure. So eventually you come to some better angle. It's about 30 feet down. You also see there are these 2 spears jutting out of the wall, and the second one actually has a corpse skewered on it. They look like sprung spear traps.
This area is Fantasos's favorite area so far, because there's a 30-foot pit plus whatever the ceiling is in this area, so there's a lot of space to fly. I think for now, Fantasos is going to want to sneak and try to, fly over the pit, really high up, and see, if there's anything dangerous over here. And have the wizard folk wait for a minute, in case there are more traps along the upper ledge.
You go flapping your wings now, flying over this area that drops down to a lower section. And it seems that this western sector does continue on. It bends to the west and then goes back to the north. You hear some sounds kind of farther on to the north by northwest, some scuttling sounds, like insectile scuttling sounds. Nothing that sounds heavy, though.
Okay. And the rats are coming from the east over there. So if I go to here, I should be able to see a little bit better. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there's like a whole swarm of rats gathered in that little cavity.
Question is, can the swarm of rats even do much to me from here? I might be able to shoot them slowly like fish in a barrel.
Mm-hmm. You want to take some shots?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
All right, so you shoot at them, and I imagine you'll hit them once or twice, and then that sends them kind of scurrying into the part of that cavity. Are you interested in pursuing into there, or you just are fine having chased them off?
I'm okay having chased them off for now. So I'm going to continue this scouting. I feel pretty happy.
You see actually 2 giant fire beetles.
Beetles.
Yeah, they are ground creatures, like giant ground insects.
There you go. Beetles can sometimes fly.
Yeah, well, that's very true, though these seem to just be ground creatures, terrestrial beetles that are sort of human size or medium size. They have like glowing natural incandescent body parts, and they do notice you, and they seem kind of put on edge. Why don't, just for the sake of organization, let's go ahead and put things into initiative. So the giant fire beetles don't exactly put you on edge the way that you've put them on edge. They're on the ground. They don't seem like flying creatures. They're not acting in a particularly aggressive manner, but they are on edge, so who knows what they might do. Go ahead, take your turn.
All right, I'm going to shoot one of them. Maybe the one in the back, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. I'm assuming that's going to hit.
Yes, 18 is definitely a hit.
Boom.
Okay, you said you shot the one in the back?
Yes.
Okay, you kill it. Your crossbow bolt drives into the chitinous body of the giant fire beetle, and it does this sort of like this little insectile noise, and it falls over like with its legs twitching on the ground.
Then I will go to like here so that I can't really be seen in case something else comes out from around that corner. Of course,
very well.
I can't see it either, so I'll just listen as I quietly flap over the pit.
Okay, so you go flying over there. Skeekthos comes along. He gets to this first spear, and he's a little hesitant about it. He looks like he's looking over the spear and the ground and the wall, and he just seems concerned for the area that he's at. So his turn is sort of like a studying, searching, a bit of moving kind of turn.
That makes sense. That area is probably trapped anyway. Francis nods at him.
The second, or the other, of the giant fire beetles it moves away from the doomful owl that is shooting deadly things at it, and it goes over that way, right to the north. Venisos, is back to you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you peek out and you see the dead fire beetle, and then the other one has, like, you can hear it scuttling away. So it sounds like it's getting away, perhaps fleeing in terror from the deadly owl being. Oh, before you move,
okay,
make a perception check. It's just a free one.
How'd I do?
Okay, again, nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
Move back to my buddy over here, basically 50 to come here, and then I will attach my rope so that he could potentially climb down.
You extend some rope down to Skeekthos, and he looks at it. He will grip it, though he seems a bit uncertain of the usage. Ventisos, you hear a sound. Now, it's not close by. It's like out there somewhere to the north.
Like around here-ish or something?
You hear the sound of wings flapping, like the quickly flapping wings, and not like a little tiny flutter, but larger wings flapping. You hear a distress chitter of the giant fire beetle.
Oh, something might be eating the giant fire beetle.
Skeekthos gingerly makes his way over the sprung spear trap, and he's holding the rope that you've lowered down to him, and then he gestures to the north. Go. More go.
Go down.
Down? You're gesturing down the...
Yeah, I have
down the drop.
Dropped the rope sort of down the 30 feet so that he can just climb, like braced against the wall for an easy climb down to the bottom.
Oh, okay. Maybe he would fasten the rope onto the spear because it's jutting
that's
out
sort
from
of what
the wall.
that's why I went over to the spear. I was trying to attach it on there to try to make it easy for him.
Okay, so his action is going to be like utilize, and he'll get the rope secured onto the spear, and then start descending down. He can't go very far just yet, but on his next turn, he'll probably cover a good amount of ground. There is more of this like distress chitter of the giant fire beetle, and you're not sure what exactly is going on over there, but it doesn't sound like it's having a very good time. We're back to you, Fantasos.
Well, I'll wait for my friend to get to the bottom, and then I will take back the rope.
I'm gonna give you and Skeekthos another free perception check because something has happened that's changed from the last time that I called for it.
Oh, sure.
I just can't say what.
I'll roll.
You got an 8.
10.
You have a 10. Okay. So you're not noticing anything. Did you ready perhaps an action since you're waiting, or did you dodge?
Probably dodge, just in case.
Yeah, there's obviously something else going on, and you hear a crunching sound now as though something is devouring the other giant fire beetle. Skeekthos descends the rope. Now let's see, how hard could that be? It doesn't seem like it'd be very hard, so we'll just have him go at half speed, and he will go down. It's a well-secured rope, and then he basically spends his turn getting to the bottom of the pit. So
Great.
He's down there. That was like a dash.
Attach
Something
the
is
rope.
happening before it gets back to you. There is a
sounds
creature attacking Skeekthos from hiding.
Ooh,
Joy, right?
yeah.
There is an arachnid thing down there that no one noticed, that has been creeping along the rough natural rock wall.
Ooh, even with advantage, it only got a 5.
Alas, it has rolled quite terribly, and it bites against Skeekthos and just comes up short, and its fangs snap like a half-inch away from Skeekthos, who then does a startle. And we go to you, Fantasos.
All right, well, I'm doing something different now. I am going to shoot it with my bow.
Yep, and just for orientation purposes, it sounds like your character is at like the +5 elevation mark, would you say?
Yeah, whatever is the highest I can be. So
Yeah, that's the highest.
+5, yes.
Yeah,
Whereas,
Skeekthos is
I'm
at negative
35
30, you're at +5. Okay,
Yeah,
and then
I'm
the spider is
35
just
feet
like
up
looming
from the
right over
spider.
Skeekthos' head, biting at him. You've shot the thing.
All right, I will roll my damage then.
It's a
Hopefully do
medium-sized giant spider.
9 damage.
That seems like quite the good hit, and the spider recoils, and it looks pretty wounded by that. Well done. The sound of those flapping wings grows louder and louder,
Uh-oh.
and a creature, a giant bat, comes flapping in on the prowl, a hungry, predatory giant bat, and it rounds that bend there in the structure and sees you and just does this maneuver where it goes right for you. That would be the end of its turn, though. It's in a dash, but it's
All right.
it's like right upon you now. Its
Yeah, that's
fangs
pretty
are bearing
terrifying.
down to predate this smaller flying thing, which is you. Meanwhile, Skeekthos is battling against a giant spider, but it is a medium-sized giant spider at least, and he will swing the magic staff, and that is not going to be a hit. And then he will try to carapace bash, shield bash the thing, and that works. That actually works pretty well.
Finish it
And
off.
the spider is already recoiling, and he just bashes it in, and some of its, icky blood and gut type stuff spatter against the face of the rock wall.
All right.
And then Skeekthos looks up and is pretty taken aback by the giant bat. Fantasos, so what would you do as this giant bat's mouth is open and it's like flapping in at you?
I think I'm actually going to withdraw down next to my friend to try to avoid being hit by an opportunity attack. I will withdraw
Okay.
down all the way down to -30.
Okay, so you land down there behind Skeekthos.
That's right.
Okay. The bat just continues its motion and, re-angles its wings and then comes swooping down there. So it just seems dead set with you as its echolocated target, and its bat-like chitters are now echoing into your owl ears. It seems pretty voracious. 23 to hit.
That will easily hit.
The thing bites you. It's painful. You take 6 piercing damage.
That is nasty.
It is now Skeekthos's go, and then he will swing the staff. He batters the thing for 6 bludgeoning, and he will bite at it. His reptilian jaws snap the giant bat and deal an additional 7 damage to it.
Okay, I think that was...
The bat squeals in pain. What do you do, Fantasos?
Honestly, I think dodging is the best bet. I'm gonna dodge.
All right, you go on the defensive. The bat will snap at you once more.
With disadvantage
and
this time.
With disadvantage. And we'll see if that was to any avail. 14 to hit?
That misses by 1.
Haha, there we go. All right, so it just basically gets some feathers in its mouth and doesn't actually cause you any damage. Skeekthos will respond with a staff strike, and he hits the creature for 5 damage, bludgeoning the thing. Now it looks like it's actually seriously wounded, and its demeanor is beginning to shift. He snaps at it with his reptilian jaws, this time missing. Fantasos, what do you do?
All right, I'm going to actually attack with my talons. I've used them a lot more than I thought I would. Maybe this is hubris. Maybe I should have dodged again, but...
Your talons rake the giant bat.
4 damage.
You rip open a gash in it, and it just falls. It just in a heap to the ground and, squeals there, bleeding out.
All right.
Well done. Well done.
I did lose a lot of my temporary hit points for that, but I think that was well done. So,
yeah, well, imagine if you didn't have the temporary hit points and your
know,
actual hit points would be down into like a little red sliver.
Fantasos praises Skeekthos' bravery.
Bat. He actually bites out a little bit of its wing membrane.
I will detach the rope now that we seem to be safe, unless there could be another giant spider. We don't know. And fly up over here just to see if anything else has come out since then. Nope, still just the beetle corpse.
Nope, you don't notice anything, and it sounds pretty quiet. Maybe just a couple muffled squeaks of rats from off in that cavity, but otherwise things are still.
Do a quick look. Oh, yeah, sure. 6. Everything's fine.
So you help Skeekthos get back up out of the pit, probably fasten the rope once again. It's just a safer bet than climbing, and you eventually get yourselves both out of this pit area, and you go along warily, but there's nothing to rouse your sense of danger. You eventually make your way to this, again, kind of conjunction spot at the north end of this complex. You see to the northeast a stony door, and it is marked with a symbol of exit, as in like etched into the face, a symbol of exit. All right, you and your ally go, and the door does not make you feel worried in the least.
What's
again,
that
it's
black
a heavy
stuff over there?
There's a pool, it looks like. A smaller pool.
All right, let's stay away from that in case like a giant shark comes off and bites. Stay back.
Yeah, Skeekthos is already working at that door. He seems to be on edge about this place, and he gets it hauled open. His eyes widen. On the other side is a corridor leading to stairs that get you out of Ratsfray. You have made it all the way through the dungeon.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Victor.
Mark, great job, man. You did really good.
I believe it. We did it. You
were very wary, and you seem to like think about many different factors. So you've got a lot of adventurer cunning and a lot of
tried to use wisdom,
calculated strategies.
Yeah, I was trying to use wisdom, which is hard for me because in real life, I usually use intelligence. So if I was just doing it myself, I would have been like, well, I know the Monty Hall problem, so I'll always change to the other door. But it's much harder for me to play the character with high wisdom. In essence, I think all of the times I've done really well with a high wisdom character, I've also kind of gotten lucky that the things I did to try to be wary and wise turned out to be a good idea.
Yeah, it worked out. And I like that the character just kind of went with his gut instinct hunch on the door. I think that was better than the like calculated probabilities.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again for playing, Mark. This was a blast. Really cool to have you on board with this. Congratulations on making it through. Your character is going to be gaining a level to 2nd level.
Thank you. I can't believe it. I was expecting Fantasos to just die off pretty early. Even he thought it was just a dream. He would be back in Morpheus's halls. And so he's excited to see what else his god has in store for him next.
Yeah, that your wisdom and your faith have led you through. All right, thanks everybody for following along. I look forward to seeing you in the next installment sometime soon. And until we meet again, may your adventures be many.